I'm kidding. So thank you guys for being here. My name is Robert Schrembeck, and for the past year I've been working on the completion of my thesis for the Honors Tutorial College. So I'm going to take just a few minutes to explain what that is, why it's important, and why we're all here tonight. So to start, music has been a part of my life for as long as I remember, so it felt only natural that my thesis for HTC should revolve around music. Music not just as an art form, but as a force. A force that shapes people, builds community, and ultimately can create change. But I didn't always understand music in this way. Before coming to OU, I was a member of the Cleveland Orchestra Youth Orchestra. Humble brag, it's one of the most prestigious youth ensembles in the state, and because of that, rehearsals were intense. We had 3-hour rehearsals every Saturday night, down the line playing tests, if you know, you know, call-outs. Every critique was meant to push you to be a better player, but it also made me question why I was there in the first place. There were multiple moments when I wanted to quit. I remember sitting around during breaks, contemplating just walking out and going home. It would have been so easy. But something changed. I started to open up to the people around me. I got to know my section, I built relationships, and suddenly everything felt different. The criticisms I was getting didn't feel like a personal attack, and the mistakes I made didn't feel world-ending. I was no longer just trying not to mess up, but I began to make music with the people around me. That experience taught me something that stayed with me ever since. The music I was playing didn't save my passion. The community I was surrounded by did. I see the same thing today as a member of the Marching 110. One of the most impactful experiences I've had with that ensemble was performing alongside Ohio State's marching band in a combined halftime show this past season. Over 400 performers in front of over 100,000 people, over a year of planning, and 2 completely different organizations coming together. On the surface, it was just a performance, something to bring in donor tickets and market both universities. But under that, something bigger was happening. We were exchanging tradition, learning from each other, building relationships, and expanding our perspectives. The music brought us together, but what stayed with me were the connections I forged through it. And that's really the foundation for my entire project. Across the country, in marching bands, garage bands, school orchestras, practice rooms, recording studios, and small venues, people are finding identity and connecting through music. And from what I've seen, both personally and through my research, music has a unique ability to spark real, meaningful change. So that led me to a central question. What role does music play in building community, and how can community drive change? To explore that question, I created a podcast series. I interviewed musicians, educators, venue owners, community leaders from Athens, Akron, and Cleveland. Each episode focused on something a little different and how those people in that music ecosystem were shaped by music and how they use music to shape the world around them. But this project isn't just about storytelling, it's grounded in research. I explored fields like sociology, musicology, and ethnomusicology. While those sound like scary academic terms, they all pointed to one simple idea. Music is not just something we listen to, it's something we do. One of the most influential thinkers I encountered in my research was Christopher Small. He coined the term musicking. His argument is simple, but powerful. Music isn't just an object, it's an activity. It includes everyone involved. The performers, the audience, the sound engineers, the people setting up the stage, everyone. Music is a shared experience, and because of that, and because it's shared, it naturally creates community. From a sociological perspective, that matters, because the challenges we face today, division, polarization, disconnection, they aren't just individual problems, they're collective ones. And yet, when we look at the world around us, it's easy to feel powerless. We're constantly exposed to overwhelming news cycles, political tensions, and social conflict. It creates an underlying question that I found myself asking over and over again. What can I actually do? That question became a driving force behind this whole project, because historically, meaningful change hasn't come from a single grand gesture. It comes from communities, from grassroots movements, and from people coming together around shared values and shared experiences. And music has often been at the center of those. Take Billie Holiday's Strange Fruits, for example. It wasn't just a song, it was a confrontation, a response to the horrific reality of lynching in America. When she performed it, rooms would go silent, lights would be dimmed, service stopped, and there were no distractions. It forced listeners to sit with discomfort, to acknowledge something that many of them wanted to ignore. It was music as protest. It was music holding a mirror up to the ugly head of culture and society at the time. Now, compared to Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA, you get a completely different kind of impact. Instead of challenging the listener, it reinforces identity. It creates a sense of unity, especially during times of national crisis. Both songs can be powerful. Both shape how people think and feel. But they do it in very, very different ways. And that's what makes music so fascinating and so important. It can challenge us, it can comfort us, it can divide us, and it can unite us. But most importantly, it connects us. And that connection is where change can begin. Through my interviews, I saw this play out in real time. I spoke with professors who use music education to bring communities together, festival organizers who create platforms for emerging artists, venue directors who balance artistic integrity with financial reality, and radio show hosts who introduce audiences to music they've never heard before and likely wouldn't hear anywhere else. Each of these people play a role in a music ecosystem. And what I realized is this: you don't have to be a performer to create impact through music. Studio owners, sound engineers, promoters, teachers, even audience members contribute to the community. And when that community is strong, it becomes a space where ideas can grow. That idea also shaped the structure of my podcast. In addition to interviews, I brought local artists into the studio and recorded live sessions. I asked them about their influences, their stories, and the meaning behind their music. These segments are conversations just like the rest of the podcast. Speaking of the podcast, I'll be honest, it wasn't always easy. Coordinating interviews, scheduling recordings, editing hours of audio, and managing logistics, it was a lot, and there were setbacks. People dropped out, plans changed, and I had to constantly adapt. But one thing stood out to me through the entire process. No one said no. Every person I reached out to was willing, excited even, to be a part of this project. The level of support reinforced everything I was trying to prove. Music and community matter to people. And when given the opportunity, people want to contribute to something meaningful. That brings us to tonight. This performance, this event, is not just a requirement for my thesis, although I know what the poster says. It's an extension of it. What you're about to see is a group of artists coming together from different backgrounds, styles, and experiences. It's diverse, it's collaborative, and it's community in action. And that's the point, because ultimately, my project argues one simple idea. Local music is not just entertainment. It's a tool for building identity, fostering connection, and for driving community change. So as you listen tonight, I encourage you to think about more than just the music. Think about the people behind it. Think about the spaces that allow it to exist and the role that you play in it, whether as a listener, supporter, or an active participant. Because change doesn't just happen somewhere else. It happens here in communities like this one. And sometimes that change starts with something as simple as a song. First band up tonight's going to be fizzling out. They're going to do a quick sound check, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you for coming.